It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege of interviewing the Otterbain's head volleyball coach, Coach Monica Wright. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in coaching in college volleyball?
How did I know I was wanted to get in college volleyball?
Mhm.
Yes. Actually it was something that I kind of fell into. I went abroad after I graduated, and when I came back, I had a friend who was coaching at Mount Union and asked me to come, help her as an assistant. And next thing I know, there was a job opening at Otterbain. And that was almost 17 years ago. So time flies, and I've enjoyed it, but I hate to say that it wasn't not my, dream to be a college coach, but it is now, and I'm here to stay. So
What was that experience like playing collegiate volleyball at Wittenberg?
lost you for, I apologize. I lost you for a second. Can I hear you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. My computer audio shut out.
What was your college experience like playing collegiate volleyball?
It was amazing. I think I didn't really know what to expect when I went to Wittenberg. Just kind of doing what I had always done in terms of, continuing my athletic career, but was able to play for two phenomenal coaches there, make some unbelievable friends, and feel very fortunate to be part of a very successful program that really, set me up to be successful as a collegiate coach. I did tear two ACLs while I was there, so definitely had some adversity thrown into my playing time. But honestly, as we like to say, adversity strengthens, and I learned a lot from those experiences, and was able to continue playing after that second ACL tear, and I think that's something that probably helped me deal with current players and their injuries, and have a little bit of a better understanding of what they're going through as well.
Of course, after your time as a head coach on the club level, what was that experience like going to the college level and coaching for Mount Union?
Um, Mount Union was a great experience. Leanne Matesic at the time was building a great program. We had been high school teammates, and she really gave me a good understanding of how to build a program that maybe hadn't been historically like extremely successful. They had some success, but she had a vision for Mount Union to win conference titles, and was able to do that in a short time there. And I think that was a little bit different than my experience at Wittenberg, when I was kind of already going into an established program. So that really prepared me for taking over at Otterbein in terms of just building. I think you have to recruit a little bit differently when you're building, kind of recruit more kids, knowing that you're not going to get as many as you might when you're already successful. And she really set me up for that.
Coming to Otterbein, what was that experience like becoming a head coach for the first time?
Oh, honestly, it was a blur. I mean, it was a struggle. I say this, with, I don't know, with a lot of confidence. I don't think I was ready, and I don't think I was a great head coach, but I'm very fortunate that I had athletes and administrators that, believed in me, and stayed with me as I grew and as I learned. And, even though I'm continuing to learn and grow, I definitely think that, I now have the baseline skills success to be successful as a head coach. And it's just kind of tweaking what each team needs, versus at 24, I probably didn't even have those basic skills. But, like I said, thankful that I found a place that was willing to help me grow and help me become, a better coach and a better person.
For you as a head coach, what was that feeling like stepping onto that volleyball court for the first time?
I think when you're a young coach, it's a little bit surreal, and part of you wishes you were still playing. And at the same time, it feels very comfortable. I never lacked confidence as a coach, even though looking back, I probably should have. But now it's kind of the complete opposite. People ask me if I miss playing, and I'm like, very, very rarely would I rather be playing than coaching. So it's been kind of fun to go through that transition to just, yes, I am a coach now. I am no longer an athlete. And I get to find my joy through our players' success, as opposed to, just trying to stay close to a game that I feel like is slipping away a little bit.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you've built as a head coach?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a process, and it's constantly evolving. That's the thing I'm learning about growing culture and growing a great team dynamic, is the minute you stop working on it, is kind of when things start going awry. So it's something that we're spending a lot of time on in season, but a lot of time out of season, talking about just what it means to be a part of a highly effective organization. And those skills will definitely, serve these young women as they move on and become part of whatever team they become a part of when they graduate. So, it's a day in, day out thing. The more I learn about it, the more it's like, culture is not something you can pick up every once in a while and work on. It's got to be something that, you talk about and teach about, almost every day. So it's been fun to learn about that part of things. I think when I was a younger coach, it was just, I need to teach these girls how to play volleyball, and that's going to bring us success. And while it does bring success, the fulfillment isn't always the same as when you can, get to the end of a season and really feel good about the team and the, teamwork that you have seen throughout the season.
Who are some of the teams in your conference that you compete against each week?
We have 10, now 9, after losing John Carroll, teams in the Ohio Athletic Conference. It's a really great conference. Obviously, we've got Capital, our rival school down the road. And then you've got the Cleveland teams in Mount Union and John Carroll, Baldwin Wallace, and then, Heidelberg, Ohio Northern, Marietta, Muskie, Wilmington. I think I got them all. I hope. Heidelberg. Did I say Heidelberg?
Of course, what is that home game atmosphere like when teams like Wilmington comes at home?
I think it depends on, the day of the week. If there's nothing going on campus, we can draw a pretty good crowd. We have spent some time, with different promotions, whether it be camper night, community night. We're talking about bringing back Westerville Special Olympics, who we've missed the past couple of years, but we've enjoyed working with in the past. So, some of our big games, we have a ton of support. Our SAC has worked really hard on generating that interdepartment support. And this past year, just to name a few, the softball team, the basketball team, they were amazing coming out and supporting us, especially for big matches. So proud to be a Cardinal, and I think we do pretty well inside of the Reich Center.
Of course, what is that atmosphere like going away to play those teams like Wilmington College?
Again, I think it depends what's going on, right? I mean, I would say if you're going to Heidelberg on a random Wednesday and nothing's going on, you got to expect the whole wrestling team, the football team, every athlete to pack into that little gym and to bring the energy and bring the intensity. The OIC is a great conference to play in, and I think those away game day atmospheres really make it the type of league that, you're preparing not only for the match, but for that, away atmosphere, depending on the school. And that can really, kind of be that, I know they call it the 6th man in basketball, maybe the 7th man in volleyball, but there's a lot of athletic, tradition and a lot of pride in the OAC. So yeah, it's definitely an advantage to be at home, and we'd much rather be playing in front of our fans. But props to the OAC and some of their support systems that they have in place as well.
What does that recruitment process look like for those prospective volleyball players, and what do you look at as a head coach in them?
Honestly, we're looking for an athlete that has an acceptable skill set, whatever that might look like, an acceptable level of athleticism. And then I know it sounds silly, but beyond that, we're looking at players who want to be Cardinals. And if we can explain our core values, explain what we're all about, and present kind of who we are, and you really want to be a part of that, those are the kids that we want in our program, because it is a competitive program and not every player is going to start right away. We talked about that adversity. You could get injured, right? You could be homesick. You could, a lot of things could happen that can make those 4 years tough. And if this is where you want to be, and we aren't the ones who convinced you to want to be a Cardinal, that's something that you decided on your own, then we feel like those are the girls that are the most successful and that, end up making it to their senior year. And that's what we want. We want to recruit players that walk across the floor on senior night and, can really look back and say they made it as a collegiate athlete and, take that experience, and move forward.
What is it like as a head coach seeing those freshmen put on that uniform for the first time versus your seniors putting it on for the last time?
I think it's a fun moment, both ways. I think it's a little more special as seniors because as we talked about, a lot of girls come in as freshmen and if we can retain 50 to 60% of those girls for 4 years, we feel pretty good about that. But that being said, when you're putting that jersey on as a senior, you've really been through a lot. You've really, gone through some ups and downs together with your teammates. And, I have a certain amount of pride for those girls. And, I've definitely been known to get a little emotional at times, whether it be senior night or, when we win a big game, or especially, when we lose that last match. I think that's the hardest, is when you see them take off that jersey for the last time. That's that's the hard one. So, yeah, I mean, it can be emotional, but it's only because, we're definitely, a very close-knit group. And, I do love those girls, especially after 4 years. Those bonds can take a little bit of time to develop, but, really proud of those seniors when they've made it through.
What is it like getting to see those volleyball players achieve those big milestones in their careers, like maybe their first digs, but then their 1,000 digs?
Yeah, I mean, anytime we have an opportunity to recognize accomplishments, we want to take the time to do so. We just want to make sure that's never at the cost of, placing that value on the entire team. So, for us, it's a little bit of a delicate balance. We kind of try to recognize those moments and then move on. And, we don't do like most valuable players and, different sort of like player of the week awards and different things, only because, we want to, set a standard for a certain amount of behavior and feel like the majority of our team is quote unquote above the line, in those areas. So we really talk more about just team. So we might focus a little less on some of those individual milestones and accolades than other teams. But, I think what ends up happening there is that team connection and that team, value is maybe a little bit stronger because of that. But, it's not right. It's not wrong. That's just, how we tend to do things, and it's what works for us.
What have been some of the things that you've been able to accomplish so far as a head coach?
Again, you could go online and look up wins and losses, and that's not something that I really, track and know off the top of my head. It is a big deal to win in our conference. So, we have been able to win some tournament championships and some conference championships, which, I am proud of because I have a lot of respect for the other teams in our conference. But, at the end of the day, we've been able to, interact on a daily basis with a lot of really great human beings. And we've been able to see them obtain a degree and move on to, impact the world in a positive way. And I would say that those are, you know, what I would consider, you know, our best accomplishments as a coaching staff.
As a head coach, what is it like seeing your players go on and playing either professionally or getting into coaching?
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. I was just texting with one of our former All-Americans this week and ran into a coach that was just telling me what a phenomenal job she does on the Cleveland beach circuit, just, you know, representing Division III and, you know, continuing to dominate up there, and definitely have to send her some love. We've got an alum that's starting her own club here in Columbus. Somebody that I would love to send my own daughter, if I had a daughter, to play for. Tons of girls coaching high school coaching club. Had a girl, you know, that just posted that she won a national championship with Ohio State's women's club team, Kayla Radican, over at Ohio State. And she just decided to get back into coaching after taking, you know, quite a while off. And it's been really fun to kind of see her find some joy in that. So, you know, love seeing girls across the net too. I get to coach against Evelyn over at Witt. I get to coach against Hadley down at Marietta, you know, former Cardinals, and just really, you know, wishing these girls the best, and happy that I didn't run them away from the profession.
What are some of your future plans for the program moving forward?
Keep getting better. I mean, that's something that we talk about a lot is, it's okay to have big goals. It's okay to have big dreams, but let's just keep getting better every day, and, you know, keep incorporating our core values into the way we train, the way we live our lives. And, you know, I always tell the girls, like, I don't know how good you are. Let's just see how good we can be each and every year. I don't know if we can win a national championship. And, you know, they don't take offense to that, because that's the language that we use is, I don't know if we're good enough to win a conference championship this year. Let's see. Right. I don't know if we can get past, you know, the regional, which we never have before, but let's try. Let's find out. Let's not leave anything on the table. And, that's kind of, you know, there's a couple different ways to look at things, and I'm okay with not talking about, you know, national championships and regional championships, because we don't know if we're good enough. We're just interested in being the best team we can be.
What advice would you give those incoming freshmen entering their first year of college volleyball?
Just continue to enjoy the process, right? And run your own race. That's something we talk about a lot is, you know, we've had players that haven't even stepped on the floor as freshmen that have been, you know, OAC player of the year 2 short years later. So when you come into a successful collegiate volleyball program, you know, it's okay to have goals. It's okay to have aspirations, but you know, we like to make those kind of overall goals and not put too much emphasis on that freshman year in terms of what happens, because a lot of that you can't control. You can't control who plays ahead of you. You can't control the decisions that I make. Just control that daily effort every single day. And honestly, that starts now, right? We're going to be sending out summer workouts now, and you know, just get after it. And, you know, you don't want to get past that freshman year and start, you know, have those regrets of feeling like, oh, I wasn't getting a lot of playing time, but I wish I would have, you know, paid a little more attention in practice, or watched a little more intently on the sideline, or worked a little bit harder. And the players that we have found that are the most successful are the ones that are able to kind of just step back and continue to invest in the day-to-day process, and not, you know, not be too concerned with, you know, what results, you know, that work ethic is providing in the moment, right?
What advice would you give those college players looking to play professional volleyball, whether it's Athletes Unlimited or the professional route overseas?
I would just say stay open. You know, I think that any collegiate athlete that plays 4 years could probably find some opportunity to continue to play, right? Not everybody's going to go get drafted by the Fury, but there are a lot of different, you know, master's programs, professional circuits. If you're willing to, you know, play for free, get another job, or just continue to play recreationally. in different tournaments that may have cash prizes and things like that. I would just say, just stay open. And don't be afraid to start at the bottom and continue to push and continue to work if that's something that they really want to do. For most of our athletes, that's not kind of the end goal. This is the end goal. So I kind of like that. I kind of like it's like, hey, leave it all on the table, because you might move on to, not play at a highly competitive level again. And kind of for me, that's what I found, right? Like I'm playing in rec leagues around Columbus, and it's just, it's just not the same as, being on a team where you've got 20 girls coming in every day and really grinding and really working together. So, leave it all out there. And if you want to hang up the shoes after that, feel content with what you did these past 4 years. Like I said, we have a few girls that move on and continue to play, but for most of them, it's just preparing them for the next thing.
What advice would you give those future head coaches out there looking to build their own volleyball program?
I would say just continue to grow. That's one of our core values. And I would say when I was younger, I was definitely fell into the trap of thinking I knew more than I did. And I would say now, entering my 17th year, I am more excited about growing and learning than I was when I was younger. And I definitely do know more than I did back then. So I kind of feel like I lost a few years of just a lot of growth, because I was kind of thinking that I knew what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be. And now I would say I am okay with saying that I'm just interested in growing and continuing to educate myself and learn how to be a better coach. And I don't know who I'm going to be in 5 years, but I want to keep, investing in myself and investing in mentors and different educational resources to kind of help me continue to find that out.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you on social media along with the program app?
We are, it's funny. Now I gotta look. We just changed our handles here. Otterbain.edu is where you're going to find, schedule and all our basic information, as well as, our social media handles there. But we are, I think, at Otterbain Cardinals. This is how good I am at social media. I don't even know how to find our handles here. We are at OTT_volleyball, OTT_volleyball, and then Otterbein Volleyball on Facebook as well. But most of our social media work is done through Instagram, and you can always reach out by email or through our social media handles. And I love collaborating and talking with anybody that's interested and wanting to learn and grow together.
Thank you again, Coach Monica Wright, for your interview, and best luck in your future with the Otterbein's volleyball program.
Hey, thank you so much, Brandon. I appreciate it.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Monica Wright, for your interview, and best luck in your future.
Thank you so much.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.